Well, good morning, everyone. My name is John Carney. I'm your governor. It's really good to be here with all of you for the signing of this important piece of legislation, HB 195, and I'm going to turn it over to the sponsors really pretty quick. I always get this terrible sick feeling in my stomach, though, when I come to this conference room, because it was in this conference room that we had our press conference for Lieutenant Stephen Floyd and for Corporal Stephen Ballard, who were killed in the line of duty. And so it's always a reminder for me of those terrible days around those incidents. It's also a reminder of the incredibly important job that we as elected officials have to support law enforcement and to protect communities. At the same time, it's a reminder of the sick feeling I get when I see incidents in communities like what happened in Minnesota and across the country and here in our state that undermine the trust that's so critically important for law enforcement to do its job to keep us all safe. And so the stakes are really high. And a bill like this is really important. It's not new to our state. Agencies across our state have been using body cameras and vehicle cameras for some time successfully. And it's not just the cameras itself and setting up the system that goes behind it. And in fact, for me, it's more about the trust that something like this is creating between law enforcement and the communities in which they serve, particularly communities of color. That is so critically important for law enforcement to do their jobs and for our communities to be safe. And so I want to congratulate everybody in the room for coming together to support this legislation, to put in place a process for getting it right with respect to body-worn cameras and agencies across our state. I know that'll make a difference. And the difference will be, most importantly, in improving that level of trust that's so necessary for both sides, for all of us to be safe and for law enforcement to be successful. So thank you all for doing your best and putting it forward in this piece of legislation. The sponsor in the House was Representative Sherry Dorsey Walker, and in the Senate, Senator Darius Brown. Others behind me were co-sponsors as well, and I turn the mic and the podium over to Representative Sherry Dorsey Walker.
Good morning, everyone. Again, I am Sherry Dorsey Walker. I represent the 3rd District, and thank you to the governor. But I have to do something as far as protocol. So the governor's favorite 5-year-old couldn't be with us today. His name is Horace Knight III, a.k.a. King, my nephew. He said to let you know he's on family vacation. So you're going to have to find somebody else to hand the bill to. Right. So he said to let you know the next time he'll be at your next bill signing because you're his second best friend behind me, okay? But nevertheless, we are here today, and I must say a special thank you to the Delaware Legislative Black Caucus, led by our founder, Stephanie T. Bolden, Representative Stephanie T. Bolden. The longest serving African-American woman in the state. That's why I had to give her a kiss. Followed by our chair, Representative Kendra Johnson. My co-prime sponsor in the House, Representative Franklin Cook. And our former chair, Senator Darius Brown. A special thank you to my colleagues who have joined us on today, our majority leader and my dear friend, Representative Val Longhurst. Representative Paul Bombach. And last but definitely not least, President Pro Tem Dave Sokola. Thank you for being here on today. I had to do that because this particular bill, we were able to work together, Republicans and Democrats, all of you in law enforcement. You worked feverishly with us, COPT, and I can't thank you enough. But I must say a special thank you to the governor because he included the dollars that we needed in his budget. And then we, the legislators, passed the budget. So we shall be able to implement body-worn cameras properly. Thank you, Mr. Governor, for a job well done. Body-worn cameras create transparency and accountability, not just for the officers, but for the community as well. I don't want officers having stories being told about them that aren't true. I'm a huge supporter of law enforcement, hence the blue today, and I am an AKA, so you know this is really killing me wearing blue and not pink. But we'll make it work, we'll make it work. But nevertheless, and those who just put up their fingers, a special thank you to the members of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated who were very instrumental in helping to pass this legislation, and to the Delaware Racial Justice Coalition, collaboration, just the work that's being done up and down our state. Secretary Mcqueen never missed a meeting, was always there. Our Attorney General, Kathy Jennings. It was amazing. What I was told we could not do, you never tell a child from Bethel and a child from the west side of Wilmington what can't be done, because she will show you what her God can do. And that's why we are here today signing this bill, because I was told this could not be done. And here we are today doing the very thing that was told we couldn't do, yet it's being done. Lauren Vella, thank you for setting up meetings, working feverishly with us. And Sienna Green couldn't be with us here today, my legislative aide, has done a phenomenal job in helping to organize this with the governor's office. Sharice Brewington Carr, Miss Yvette Santiago, all of you great people who have made a difference in our state. And to law enforcement, you have an ally in the 3rd District. Thank you for a job well done and for always protecting and serving. May God continue to bless you and keep you. And now I shall turn it over to the prime sponsor in the Senate, Senator Darius Brown.
Good morning. I want to thank the members of the Delaware General Assembly and kind of set the pace this morning about where we were and how far we've come. Last June, we stood on the front steps of our state capitol with members of the Delaware Legislative Black Caucus and collectively members of the Delaware General Assembly to announce a Justice for All agenda. And I want to publicly thank the leadership of the Senate and the House at that time, Senator Dave McBride and Speaker Pete Schwarzkopf, because in that truncated June session, while we were trying to address a global pandemic and all of the racial unrest in our country, we were able to galvanize together, work together to present something to the citizens of Delaware to address the uncertainty that so many of them felt. I'm thankful to Majority Leader Val Longhurst and our President Pro Tem, Dave Sokola, for how they have helped us as we've transitioned from the 150th session to the 151st session of the Delaware General Assembly to not just announce an agenda, but to ensure that we execute and implement legislation that improves the lives of communities up and down the state of Delaware and ensures the safety of our law enforcement officers, that while many of us run from danger, they are willing and volunteer to run toward it for the sake of us and our families. And for that, the men and women that are behind me and the men and women that are in front of me, I thank you sincerely this morning. I want to thank our governor, Governor Carney, someone that I've known for many years, but Governor, to walk with you and serve with you over the past year in some very uncertain times, some times that have not been documented, but we both know that there were some very uncertain times and conversations we had over the past year on just how to heal our state, to heal our communities. And I just want to thank you for continuing to be that partner, to do that work, and not just to make a promise, but to fulfill and be a man of your word and being committed to that promise. And so this past January, the governor, in his State of the State address, presented a vision for the state that included public safety. And part of that public safety vision included body-worn cameras for law enforcement. The governor did not just do it through words, but he put his money where his mouth was. And because of the support of members of the Joint Finance Committee and members of the legislature, and because of the support of the men and women that are in this room, in addition to Colonel Mcqueen, we stand here today able to say to law enforcement that we have your back 100% up and down the state from Claymont to Delaware. I recognize that if you want to go fast, you go alone. But if you want to go far, you go together. And I want to take this time to thank someone that volunteered as part of our Justice for All agenda to lead and chair our Law Enforcement Accountability Task Force, where many of the recommendations of legislation throughout this 151st session has been introduced, passed, and will continue to be worked on as we return in January. He is someone that, even though this bill has my name and Representative Dorsey Walker's name on it, has been integral in the work and the success of us being able to implement this policy, to get buy-in from stakeholders. And he is my MVP of the 151st session, Representative Frank Cook. And it's his birthday. And so, as the governor spoke earlier, Governor, as I was driving up today, I was also reminded of Stephen Ballard, because we went to Dell State together, and the person and personality that he was at Dell State. And to be in this building on a day like today, to think about what his thoughts would be about where we are, and yet still the work that we must continue to do in the future. And I'm glad that in thinking of him, we have a partner in the Department of Safety and Homeland Security in Secretary Nate Mcqueen.
Good morning. Good morning. You know, when I listened to the governor's comments and reflecting back on Stephen and some of the events there at Troop 2, I probably had the fortunate pleasure of serving here as a troop commander for a couple of years. And I'll just share with the governor and, you know, certainly with all law enforcement, know that, you know, while we have those challenging times, it's folks like the folks you see in the back and folks you see behind me that makes those memories, the good and bad, we continue to endure. So thank you to all of our law enforcement here today. Thank you to Governor Carney and General Assembly for their leadership on House Bill 195. Approximately half of Delaware's 48 law enforcement agencies currently have body-worn camera programs. Thank you to all of our allied agencies, federal, state, local, and community partners for their universal support of body-worn cameras and for their efforts to obtain funding that will allow Delaware law enforcement to implement a statewide body-worn camera program. While there's still work to be done, the signage of this legislation is the next step in our state's continuing efforts to promote accountability, transparency, and legitimacy. It will also enable Delaware law enforcement to continue to build trust and foster positive relationships within our communities. And finally, the Department of Safety and Homeland Security will continue to work with all of our partners to fully implement the statewide body-worn camera program and to reach our shared goal of safety and security in all of our Delaware communities. Thank you, and stay safe. Excuse me, before I go out, and I'm used to having Corporal Gary Fournier do this. and we used to having those PIOs take charge with these. But it's my pleasure to introduce the Attorney General for the state of Delaware, Ms. Kathy Jennings.
Thank you, Secretary and Governor. Thank you to all the police chiefs, our new Commissioner of Corrections, to all the police officers who are here. Thank you. To all, is this good? Are we good? A little bit further. I'm short. To all the police officers who are here today representing their departments, to FOP, head of FOP, I believe is here, Jamie Leonard, to all the citizens who are here joining the cause for racial justice, to our General Assembly, who just did a terrific job seeing this through to the end. Thank you. In short, this is a big deal. The first state is now a national leader in transparency in our country. And Governor, thank you so much, not just for signing this historic law, but for putting the money in your budget many months ago that set us down the right path. Legislators, sponsors in the JFC who, when we came up with the program, said essentially, just tell us how much it'll cost and we'll figure it out. Because that's how important today is. Advocates who spent last summer and every month since then pushing for the improvements that our criminal justice system needs. Thank you. We are forever grateful for your strong help in getting us to where we are. And finally, to two groups of people who work the hardest on making this a reality. Chief Pat Ogden and the nearly 50 police chiefs throughout this state. You helped us design this program. You're helping us now with the implementation because you recognize what a difference maker body-worn cameras are. Finally, to our DOJ team who is here with me today, Lauren Vella, you already got a shout out, but our policy director and legislative liaison extraordinaire, thank you for this countless hours you put into this. And to Alex Mackler, Chief Deputy Attorney General. Alex likes to work behind the scenes, as you all know, but boy, did he get the job done. He is one of the reasons why I believe that this sped through the General Assembly and that everybody is on board with body-worn cameras in our future. A year ago, amidst unrest, local and national, you identified an answer. Not the answer, but an answer. You worked tirelessly with all stakeholders to design a unique system that will make Delaware truly a national leader. And today that vision becomes a reality. We are not done, as many have said. We need to equip our police with both the technology and an updated policy, I think by January 2022. And so let's get to work and keep doing the hard things, because the hard things make a difference for all of us. Thank you so much. I did the same thing. I am honored to introduce the next speaker, who is Chief Laura Giles of the Ellesmere Police Department. Laura, where are you? There you are. There are still only a few women who have risen to the top of law enforcement, and I look forward to seeing many more among us. Yes. So Laura, thank you.
Sure, thank you. My name is Laura Giles. I'm with the Ellesmere Police Department, but I am here today representing the Delaware Police Chiefs Council. I'm very honored to stand here today. This is something that law enforcement has wanted for many years. I can tell you that even from being from a small department, it was cost prohibitive for us. So we would like to thank first the governor and the General Assembly for making it available for all of us to have body-worn cameras, and most of all for our Attorney General's office for their guidance So we'd like to say thank you, and this is something that all law enforcement is looking forward to. Thank you.
So it looks like the next thing to do is actually sign the legislation when I got to go over here to sign it. But I do want to make one observation. And Senator Brown mentioned it, and that is that we can do big things and important things when we work together. And I think one of the great things about being an elected official in our state, as I have for just about 20 years, a little bit over 20 years now, is that we're unique in that respect. Governor Markell used to always refer to Delaware as a state of neighbors. I love that expression. And the reason I love it is because neighbors look after one another. Neighbors take care of one another. Neighbors care about the broader community. And really that's what this piece of legislation is all about. As I said when I started out today, I get this terrible feeling in the pit of my stomach when I come into this room because of the memories it brings back with respect to Corporal Ballard and Lieutenant Floyd, and this today will help me get over that. And it's my privilege now to finish the great work of the legislature. Is that the body camera right there? Yes, sir. Somebody want to hold it up? Maybe you should tell us it. Hold that up, Nate. Somebody kind of knows what it's all about. So this is House Bill number 195 is amended by House Amendment number 2. We heard from the sponsors. There were many other co-sponsors. In my view, this is the most important piece of legislation that's part of the Justice for All agenda, because it will no doubt improve the trust between communities of color, all communities, and our law enforcement officers and agencies across the state. Where is there?